So when October 17th comes rolling around and I'm not sitting in the Natchitoches City Court, well, I'm guessing my lawyer probably will still be showing up, and Judge Barber and prosecutor Cloyd Benjamin. I'll be sitting there wondering where, and the city marshals is just sitting there, maybe looking out the door to see if I'm there. That's when they're going to decide that I need a warrant for my arrest. And I was looking into how extraditions are conducted, because that's what we're looking at right now. Well, for October 17th. And I'm comparing to Michigan, since I'm in Michigan, but then I'll be comparing it to Indiana, then Kentucky, then Tennessee, then Alabama, Mississippi. I'll be comparing extraditions from between a lot of states and a lot of counties. I'm gonna just be on a educational trip at this point about extraditions, and I typed in a question with ChatGPT about extraditions and the offices that are involved with it and the paperwork, and it came back with information about how it's gone through the governor's office or the attorney general's office. So I need to find out which office deals with extraditions, and the physical part of it is conducted by cops, but the paperwork is conducted through the governors, and it's governors of each state, or maybe attorney generals of each state. It's hard to say. That's why I'm in a learning process. I don't know. And I know Lansing is the capital of Michigan. That's a little out of my way. I have yet to look at the website and learn about their office. And I would think the Attorney General is probably not far from the governor, not far from the capital. They're all probably right there if I go through it. Maybe in the other states I could swing by a capital, go through a capital. I've been to a few capitals in other states, just look around the buildings. There's some weird capitals out there, like the one in Phoenix, Arizona, is it Phoenix? It's in Arizona. I was in some weird capital, and they had just paintings on all the walls all over the place. It's a weird capital. But the offices that are involved, the paperwork that's involved, I want to look at. Maybe I can help them write the extradition paperwork for me. I'll have it ready to go. I'll be like, this is what it looks like when I turn myself in. I'll be like, okay, that's something that I could bring to the sheriff's office when I ask my questions. I could be like, okay, this is what the extradition paperwork looks like, and work with that. I have to see if it's pre-made out. I was trying to remember that agreement that I discussed with the last sheriff's department that the states have about extradition, and they have standards and how they care, and the standards and how they care for the defendants in a lot of cases. I don't know, and it'd be interesting. Are there more defendants who are extradited than the convicted? I'm not sure, but I mean, with the statistics saying that there's more people awaiting trial who are in jail than there are in jail. The pretrial people outnumber the convicted people in jail. That'll make me think that it's probably likely that's likely for the extradition stuff as well. Pre-sentence extradition is probably more likely. to happen. So yeah, I want to see this paperwork. Maybe I can find examples on the internet. I'm still going through the examples, but I mean, I can't go at the pace of 30 miles a day. That's just so much rushing, because I mean, I don't want to be skipping cities if I don't have to. I just saw the mushroom houses in this town. I just found out about mushroom houses, and I went over to check it out. It was pretty cool, and I really don't care to be skipping that, rushing through, losing sleep, and making more bad decisions on the road, because there's road construction. I got to deal with a lot of like detours on traveling. There seems to be unannounced road construction, and there's just all kinds of little things that come up along the way on the journey, and for me, it's the journey that counts, not the destination. And I mean, once again, like, you know, I'm just not happy with the being cut out of the discussion about a good date. I mean, they originally had my trial scheduled in August, so that was last month. So my first trial date was in August already, and we held that back, and now we're holding it back for the second date. But that's just not acceptable. The first date was definitely not acceptable. The second date is unacceptable. You know, and I'm pushing to have it at a more appropriate time. And I just saw the Louisiana State Troopers Facebook had just put out a warning about a hurricane coming through Louisiana right now. So, you know, you go into that area cautiously. You don't just race in. It's so stupid how people think you got to race in to get places. I mean, look at the extradition. The one, some commenter said that he had to wait 90 days plus another 10 days. What's the rush? They're not in a hurry. They throw you in jail for 90 days, for 100 days over the extradition. They're not in a rush. So why should I be in a rush? It's a learning process for me, and I'm trying to pick up more and more information as I move, and to get multiple opinions from different sheriff's offices about this. It'll help me form better questions in the process, and I can learn a lot, and possibly help out the judge with extradition for me, you know, if I run over the time. I guess I've already run over the initial trial dates for August. Okay, you know, and how sad is that? I mean, I don't know how many people are aware I had the original trial date in August. It's no longer. And do I have a warrant out for my arrest? No. And I shouldn't have a warrant out for my arrest for this second date either, because it was poorly discussed without my presence. I mean, I'm not waiving my presence. I'm announcing that. I'm trying to make it as clear. I tell my lawyer multiple times I'm not waiving my presence, and then he just turns around and says to the judge, Travis will waive his presence. And it's just unfair how that process is working. It's so secretive and mysterious and privileged. Okay, that's privileged information. That's how they get out of a lot of accusations. They'll just claim that it's privileged. That hearing was, you know, it's a conference. It's privileged. You don't have a right to listen. It's like that's how they argue it. Well, I'd like to hear why it's privileged. Why, you know, if it's a discussion about me, how is it privileged that I'm not allowed to listen in and have my own inputs? I mean, there's multiple ways to enter into the court. And that's the question I would ask the judge. You know, have you ever held a trial for somebody over Zoom. Judge Ousley has, and I'm sure that Judge Barber has as well. I want to make it down there, but I don't think I'll make it on in that short period of time. 30 miles. It's just crazy. So yeah, I'm learning more about extradition. It goes through the governors or the attorney generals, and I'll look into it more. I'm not always at the library, so I just started really narrowing my searches into the paperwork that's involved. There's paperwork. I mean, it's not just a straight, the judge writes Travis Heinze is to be extradited here, and then he puts it into some mysterious system, and then everybody knows about it in the country. One city judge can take a little piece of paperwork that says Travis Heinze is to be extradited to Natchitoches, immediately puts it in a system, and it goes national. I don't think the city judge has that much power, because in a lot of examples, in a lot of the ways I've been asking questions through ChatGPT, it's the governor, the governors of either state. They have to coordinate, and then also maybe the attorney general. So the judge has to coordinate something with the governor or the attorney general, and then they put out some kind of paperwork, which I've yet to learn about, some kind of a database that's shared between the states. But I mean, Michigan, and I got some pretty good answers from this sheriff representative. I want to talk to more sheriffs, but I mean, he's a non-officer, but he seemed to know, or I mean, seemed to have good sounding answers. We'll see if it's a consistent answer, that they just don't hold for a 6-month charge. Misdemeanors, they're not going to hold you for that. To ask Louisiana if they want to come up and take me or whatever. I got to get a little bit closer to the states. Maybe not quite Indiana, maybe not quite Kentucky, maybe into Tennessee, Mississippi. I start getting closer and closer. Like getting closer to the mousetrap before it snaps on me. If I am facing a warrant for my arrest, I got to get close to the mousetrap for that arrest warrant to snap on me. All right, I'm a little far away from it right now. They don't throw mousetraps out this far from Natchitoches for such a minor thing. It's just a mousetrap. It's not a a bigger trap. Their trap is for small critters, not big stuff. So the severity isn't the severity of punishment. I mean, it's not shared between Michigan and the law. The law is just not shared between Michigan and Louisiana. But yeah, this is a learning process right now. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about on that subject until I learn more. I'd like to actually be able to see paperwork. If I could get copies of that paperwork that the governor would have or the attorney general would have on extradition. If you wanted to extradite somebody, what does that paperwork look like? That's my question.